This weekend recognizes World Alzheimer's Day, and we wanted to focus on one group that experiences Alzheimer's and dementia at a greater rate than others: veterans. According to one study, veterans with traumatic brain injuries, a common injury from conflict zones, they suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's at alarming rates. From Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts, those who suffered a mild traumatic brain injury are up to 3 times more likely to get dementia and/or Alzheimer's. Not only that, veterans in this group were diagnosed with these diseases 25% faster than those who had not suffered from traumatic brain injury. Joining us now, Scott Doney, Army veteran and Administrative Director of Visiting Angels of South Central Michigan; Tim Welbaum, Army veteran and owner of Visiting Angels of South Central Michigan; and Kristine Yaffe, Professor of Psychiatry and Neurology at the University of University of California, San Francisco. Dr. Yaffe, I'm looking at that 3X compared to others, and that has got to be alarming for many folks. Why is this dynamic there?
Great question, Richard. First of all, thank you, and happy World Alzheimer's Day to you all. You know, we don't know exactly what's going on, but we know that having a TBI, traumatic brain injury, increases one's risk of developing dementia many years later. And we really need to get to the bottom of this. Why is this happening? And I can tell you about some of the possibilities. What are some of the possibilities? Well, one possibility is that by having a head injury, you're more vulnerable to the natural aging forces. Another possibility is there's something actually about the traumatic brain injury that leads to some of these abnormal proteins that then cause damage to the neurons and lead to dementia. Those are the two main ideas. The main ideas. Tim, as you're out there and you as a veteran talking about Alzheimer's with veterans, what have you learned in terms of that association, those numbers that I just described? And they got to be shocking to you as well.
They certainly are, Richard. Thanks for having us on, and thank you so much for everything you've done over the years, partnering with the Alzheimer's Association, and of course, the many different veteran organizations that you have. What we're seeing, so first of all, you know, we own Visiting Angels Senior Home Care. It's a senior home care where we go out and we provide this beautiful care, but one of the unique things we get to do different is we are a Veterans Affairs provider. So we see a lot more vets than your average home care company. At one point, we were up to 73% being veterans. Now, what's neat about that, or maybe not neat, but we get to see a larger sample, and what we're noticing is our veterans are the ones that are really coming to us in the larger numbers that are having that Alzheimer's or different forms of dementia.
And Scott, you know, as we look at our veterans and as they go through this, you're already want to take care of veterans who are returning, but then there's this Alzheimer's, another layer on top, something you know quite well since you are involved in this space.
Correct. And, you know, I am the director, of course, and then I actually go into the homes and do all the assessments with our clients.
What do you see? Have you visited those with as well that are veterans and have Alzheimer's? And what do you see?
I do, and you know, I see the struggle that the families are having. And actually, my great uncle, actually passed away last year with Alzheimer's, and he was a veteran as well. And so, you know, I see the family struggling with the veteran on a daily basis, and you know, ultimately, I want to help them out, and that's why Tim and I became a huge part of the Alzheimer's Association, and to want to, you know, ultimately help out as much as possible.
And we thank you both for your service.
Yeah, it's painful to see, Richard. You know, very painful. We go in every day to these homes, and every day we see it again and again where the families are just torn apart.
What do you tell them?
Undereducated. Well, first of all, the most important thing, especially when we're dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's, is to utilize the free resources that the Alzheimer's Association has out there. One of the best things we could give anybody out there listening right now who's battling with Alzheimer's disease, or at least a loved one is to go to alz.org, okay? ALZ for Alzheimer's.org. There's all kinds of free resources, and there's also a 800 number that's a helpline. And as you know, with your experience with the Alzheimer's Association, there's free resources, there's free support groups. All of these local communities fundraise, and the money goes back into the communities in addition to research. So a lot of that money comes back locally to help educate them on how to deal with a lot of this. So if anybody's suffering at all, trying to figure out what to do with this disease, how to handle it,
Right.
Go to that website and try to get a hold of somebody with the Alzheimer's Association.
Dr.
You for sure.
Dr. Yaffe, we're not talking about a small number here. We're talking about 350,000, according to this study that I was alluding to. And so this number is quite large, and they're all at risk here. How do they offset that risk, Dr. Yaffe?
Great question. So, one of the first things you want to do is try and prevent. So we really do need to increase public health awareness to avoid traumatic brain injury if possible, and if one has had a traumatic brain injury, to try and have some time for recovery. But the other thing I think we need to do as a group is try and to explain to our children and to everybody that what you do when you're young and even in middle age can affect your risk of dementia down the line. So it's really a public health campaign to try and understand how to take care of your brain and prevent a lot of different risk factors, including traumatic brain injury.
I thank you all three for your work on this. Tim Welbaum, Scott Doney, Kristine Yaffe. Dr. Yaffe, thank you all, and have a very good Sunday again as we note and we mark a World Alzheimer's Day. And as Tim was mentioning here, you can go to visitingangels.com, you can go to alz.org, you can also go to Bright Focus.